Hello everyone and welcome back. I hope that everyone's last speeches were a success. Last time I talked to you, I mentioned my passion for ocean conservation, and that's why I'm pursuing my degree in conservation biology. One of my favorite quotes that has to deal with ocean conservation or just conservation in general is by Robert Swan, and he says the greatest danger to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it. So today my speech is going to be about sharks, the ocean's apex predator. Today I will be speaking about how sharks actually are and their behavior compared to how they are portrayed in the movies, especially the famous Hollywood movie Jaws. The quote by Robert Swan is very influential in getting people to consider what is actually being done to save our planet and its oceans. A major step towards conservation is being educated, and without education you have ignorance and fear can be fatal, especially with sharks. It's important to remember that before 1916, a lot of people questioned if sharks could even attack a person or even kill someone. At one point in 1891, there was a reward for $500 to prove sharks could attack humans. Well, on July 1st through July 12th in 1916, they are known as the 12 Days of Terror. 4 people had died and 5 more were wounded in shark attacks. The attacks sparked fear, and these shark attacks was the inspiration for the movie Jaws. You might be asking, why does this all matter? That it's just one animal and that species become endangered all the time. Sharks, as apex predators, regulate all species in some way. They keep prey species in check so the smaller species don't overpopulate and deplete all the food source. Most of the world depends on the ocean, and without the marine environment, and the marine environment becomes weak, they cannot support us. I've been researching and understanding sharks and its environment for over 4 years now, and have actually swam with sharks on multiple occasions, one including in Honduras, where I swam with over 7 different species of sharks. I will be discussing some very important topics to sharks that include movie damage to sharks' reputation, the shark fin soup trade, and shark attack prevention. Giving into fear is an easy thing to do, but learning the truth is often way harder. Discovering sharks' true nature is going to be hard for many, because then we must acknowledge how we actually have been destroying them and hurting them for so long, and we could be the reason for their extinction. So one of my main points is movie portrayal, how Hollywood portrays sharks. Shark movies are classic in entertainment, especially with movies. Jaws being the original movie everybody thinks of when they think of sharks. Since the 1900s, there have been over 70 shark movies made. But people don't realize about how much panic and fear are caused by the releases of these movies. The movie was based partially on the 1916 attacks, how I mentioned before, the 12 Days of Terror. As soon as it came out, it sparked fear, not only in the theaters, but out in the beaches and the fishing. And with fishermen, it almost became a contest of who was braver, who could take out their small boat and catch the biggest shark. And with a decent-sized rod, you could catch a 500-pound shark. Then the tournaments occurred where sharks were being fished for prizes. And so I have some images here of the classic shark movies that we see. We have 47 meters down Uncaged, The Shallows of Blake Lively, and the regular 47 meters down. Those are just a couple of the movies that have been released in recent years and that has sparked an uproar in the community. So shark finning is a very big problem. When the swordfish collapsed, the swordfish industry collapsed in the 1980s, fishermen then went and turned to sharks. This exploded the shark fin soup trade, or in the official terms, it's called shark finning. Shark finning is when you slice off a shark's fins and then return it to the water. They only use about 2% of the shark and they throw it back in. And this is very inhumane because sharks cannot swim without their fins, obviously, and they have to move in order to survive. So when they put the sharks back in the water, they suffocate to death. So here are some images of shark finning. So if you are weak-stomached, I do not recommend looking at these images. But this one here shows the hundreds of shark fins that are often harvested. Here is a picture of a shark that was thrown back into the water. And we have an infographic here showing some basic information about what shark finning is and what happens to the shark when it is released into the water. Another one of my main points is real sharks' behavior, not what is portrayed in the movies. But in reality, there's nothing that proves that sharks prefer humans, like eating humans, over their real food source, because that is the main thing they portray in the movies, is that sharks go after people for food, and that is just not correct. Sharks' main diet is sea lions, seals, other marine animals, even they have been seen eating dead whales. In a lot of shark movies, you see a shark circling a person on a rock or a cage or a boat, and that's just not likely. Most of the classic movies show shots of a monster-sized shark just lurking and waiting for a human to enter so they can attack. This is not realistic. A shark is not going to wait around and expel that much time and energy for us to eat us. We are not in their diet. We are bony. We do not have any nutrients compared to seals, who have lots of blubber and fat and is very nutritious for them. In the movies, they show great whites being this massive size shark. In reality, they're only 14 to 16 feet. Maybe they are documented in a few rare cases above 22 feet. But once again, that is very rare, and that has only been found in certain areas such as Guadalupe Island. At some points you need to take with you if you are going swimming in the ocean, how to protect yourself so you do not become a victim of a shark attack. There is 100+ shark attacks a year. They are rare. Most attacks are sample bites. So a shark, it's mistaken bites. So you kind of look like they're prey to them. So when a shark is swimming underneath you and you are a surfer, you look like a seal to them from below. Avoid wearing bright colors because sharks can sense that contrast. They see a lot better when you have a really bright color versus a really dark color. Another thing is avoid wearing jewelry and shiny objects in the water because it looks like fish scales. Do not swim at dusk or dawn, and avoid murky water because visibility is low and the shark can mistakenly bite you. And another very important thing to know is if you see a shark sighting sign like this one that says to enter at your own risk, this is because the shark has been in the water recently and it is telling you that it may possibly still be in the area. So you need to know that that means that a shark has been seen in the area and you need to avoid the water at all costs. And also, if you see a shark, avoid it. Do not harass it and leave it alone. Today I have informed you about sharks' bad reputation and the harmful effects it has caused. I've educated you on the effects that Hollywood movies have had on the sharks and how those movies installed fear into the world, but clarified sharks' actual behavior from studies done by shark experts and observations done at Guadalupe Island. Then most importantly, educated you on the lucrative shark fin trade and the horrors of the aftermath. Then I informed you how to reduce your risk of shark attack and safely swim with the ocean's most beautiful creatures. The ocean just doesn't provide a home to all the species that live in it. It provides us with a life and we depend on it for survival. Like Robert Swan said, the greatest danger to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it. Thank you for listening today and educating yourselves, and the sharks, thank you too.